Hello there, Trevor here from Double Bill Movies. Right, now for this video I thought I'd go through why we don't really see bonus material on 4Ks, and also why we shouldn't really. I can totally understand why everyone gets a bit sort of upset that there's no bonus material on 4K discs, but and that is mainly because when DVD came out, they were festooned with lots of bonus material, really cool menus, anamorphic menus, animated menus, and all sorts of things. And then when Blu-ray came out, the industry realized very quickly that they couldn't sustain that kind of material on the discs, and they basically decided that they needed to save money, and so that's why they sort of made a lot of menus generic. So they've just got simple symbols depicting what is play, what is your chapter selection, setup, and that kind of stuff. So that's why you see those boring menus. But also there's another reason why you see the boring menus. It also helps save space on the disc for the film itself, which is the most important part. So it's nice to have all these lovely moving menus and clips from the film, or fancy graphics and everything. I mean, look at a lot of the Disney menus and how involved they are, and the sort of things you can do with them. And they've got Easter eggs in them, so hidden features. If you click certain ways, you get to this bonus item that you don't normally get to, or even waiting for a certain amount of menu loops for something to appear. The Incredibles Blu-ray jumps to mind. But yes, all that information takes up space on the disc. So simple sort of photo background and some generic menu buttons is personally the best way for them to go. Now ideally for Blu-ray, all the films should be on BD50s, so that's a dual layered disc with a single layered disc being BD25. Now of course we got 4K, which isn't twice the amount of information than a Blu-ray, but 4 times the amount, and we've only gone to 100 gig disc, which is a 3-layer disc, and a BD66, which is a dual layer disc but with sort of extra capacity. Not quite sure how they've managed that. And if you look at these images here, this helps you understand which is a BD66 or a BD50 and a BD100. So you've got 2 barcodes here, and they determine that it's BD50 or a BD66, so a dual layer disc. And then this one with the 3-layer barcodes is a BD100. Now, so ideally all 4K films should be on BD100s, but they're not. I can understand why. There must be quite a cost difference between whether they put it on a 66 or a 100 gig disc. So I've got some examples here. What sort of sparked this video off was this recent release of Once Upon a Time in the West from Paramount. Now you've got a 2 3/4 hour film crammed onto a 66 gig disc. Now this is the reason why it looks like the grain has been scrubbed away, because compressing it that much has lost some detail, and the first sort of detail to go is the grain. So that's where they've compromised. The rest of the picture is brilliant. I've done a review, so I'll leave a link to that in the description. So and you can see for yourself, it may look too clean, but then why was the material not very well kept, and it was clean anyway? When I looked at the Blu-ray to do my comparison, which was an older Blu-ray from, I think it was about 2015, there was quite a bit more sort of minor scratches, dirt and damage on the video, but that's now being cleaned up. So anyway, yes, so that's what sparked off this little conversation. Ideally, this should have been on a BD100, and I would imagine that the grain would be nice and present, and we'd all stop moaning about it. But now, after I did that video, I decided to watch Jaws for the first time on 4K. And I'd heard a lot of people said how good the picture was, and yes, it is a lovely picture. So here it is. Now, this is on a BD100. So you're thinking, well, there you go, Trev, that's the reason. Not really. I did notice some compression artifacts in certain scenes, which were the same compression artifacts I noticed on this. And I thought to myself, hang on, okay, so this is on a BD100. Why is that the case? And then I started to watch one of the bonus items. I was watching away, and suddenly thought, how long is this? And it was 2 hours. There's 4 hours of bonus material on the 4K. So not only have you got a 4K movie that's 2 hours long, you've got upscaled bonus material to 1080, which is 4 hours long. So you've compromised your image straight away. You've put it on the right disc, but you've then compromised it by putting all the bonus material on. So I think that's, but they've done it because it's quite an early 4K. They know that people are used to having lots of bonus material on their discs, so that's why they did it. You know, they're sort of pandering to us. Now, when I go to something like Contagion, now obviously this wasn't shot on film, but it does come from a 4K master, a 4K intermediate, sorry. And this looks absolutely stunning. Now, I didn't notice, no, start that again. I realised that my setup was being compromised with the HDR when I realised that I had the HDR optimizer set to on my player. And that was what was restricting the HDR to either an output of 350 nits or 500 nits instead of what was actually available. And so there's very minimal special features on the 4K of this film. There's 15 minutes. So that's doable. And that is at 1080. It's not in 4K. So, you know, however long, yes, not even a 2 hour film. It's an hour and 45 minutes plus 15 minutes of bonus material. So there's your 2 hours. That is on a BD100 and that looks absolutely spectacular. Exactly how you expect a 4K to look. Then we go to, no, let's go to this one. War of the Worlds. I also watched this the other night. Now, it's another Paramount release. And, you know, okay, so I was looking for the compromises, and yes, they kind of are. Now, let's have a quick look to remind myself what disc this is on. And it is a BD100. There is no bonus items on the 4K disc, and actually this looks pretty spectacular, I have to say. So Paramount do it right. Like I said, don't know why they didn't do it for Once Upon a Time in the West. Now, we all have to remember that their budget for these releases are included in the budget of the films they make at Paramount Studios. So it's not a separate company as such. Yes, it's a separate department, but the budget covers everything. So, you know, if they've got a couple of feature films in production, they're not necessarily going to have the funds to then put too much into a release, are they? So, now, changing lanes on 4K. This has a very, very high HDR standard. It goes to well over 3,000 nits, and I think the minimum is like 160 something. I'll put a screenshot up here I took of it, and you can see for yourself. This looks absolutely stunning, and again, not until I realised the setting of my HDR optimizer being on, which was reducing my HDR output, my mate and I watched this film, and then when I put it back in, having made the change to the HDR, suddenly there was a lot more depth, there was a lot more contrast to the picture, and it looked even better as a 4K than I'd ever seen before. But again, as you can see from the menus, there's very little menu information, and the main menu just has a static picture, which is, if you look at it, quite low res. Not very, doesn't look like there's much colour in there. It's very washed out, and you know, it's not the highest quality menu you've ever seen, with minimal buttons to choose anything. And actually, the bonus material is on the Blu-ray. So again, this is where Kino Lorber have done it properly. They've put the feature film on a 4K with nothing else, and here's a BD100. Let's just double check to confirm. Yeah. Now, I don't know if I can get that scene. No, that's pointless. But again, I've got this screenshot here of what the 3 barcodes look like. And again with Rain Man, this is an MVD release. I did do a review on it. If you want to check that, I'll put that in the description as well. And this is on the BD100. This has a very low res menu, static picture, basically just kind of play. And now there's commentaries on the 4K disc. There is actually quite a bit of bonus on the 4K disc, but it doesn't seem to hurt the feature. And if it's audio, that's not taking up anywhere near as much information as video does. Yes, that's definitely a BD100. It's a bit dusty. But so what I'm getting at is, these boutique labels, you know, this is a Paramount film, but released by Kino Lorber. And this is an MGM film, obviously kind of in the open market now, as MGMs don't really exist where they used to. So, you know, another boutique label has done a release. And they've done it properly as far as I'm concerned. Very minimal bonus material on the 4K, so that the 4K feature has plenty of room to breathe and show us its amazing quality. And obviously another title, that this is from Universal, that definitely has to be on a BD100 because of how long it is, and the fact it was shot 70-15 film, IMAX, and that is Oppenheimer. So it just says here on the 4K disc, feature. That's it, nothing else. So the Blu-ray also has nothing but the feature, and that will be on the BD50. And then there's a bonus disc. So to me, these are the optimal ways to release 4K discs. And it, it doesn't put the others to shame, because as I said, with Jaws, they know that people want loads of bonus material, and they might have been a bit confused as to why. So personally, if I get a 4K and there's no bonus items on it, I don't care, because I want to get my money's worth regarding the picture and the sound. It doesn't have to have Atmos either, because when I was watching War of the Worlds, there's a lot of thunder and everything, with the aliens are basically sending their little guys down to the ships, and it sounded like it was above me. And this is only 5 channels of audio, or 6 channels of audio, include the LFE, but it 100% sounded like it was above me. So don't really need Atmos. So I do get a little confused when people say, oh well, there's no Atmos with this old Western or something like that, or an old film. It's like, well, it doesn't need it, and it wouldn't make it sound any better. When I watched Once Upon a Time in the West, I used the original mono, because that will be optimal, because that's how it was made. When I first watched, I think, the Blu-ray back in 2016, I think I watched the surround sound, and it didn't sound too bad. I have to say, it was quite a good surround sound mix, but it's mostly the music that's in the surround speakers. So that's not really utilizing them. It's not like they've put characters and gunshots and all sorts of stuff in there in the surround channels. So yeah, I'm trying not to sound like I'm telling everyone what to do. I'm sorry if it does come across that way, but I don't think we need to be moaning when there's no bonus material on a 4K disc. I think we need to be happy that it's literally we've got all the bonus material on other formats, and why do we need to see bonus material in 4K? We don't. It's not the main feature. And so, as I said, with Jaws, they've upscaled the old 480 material to 1080, and I guess it would look really horrendous to put 480, I don't know, but yeah, it's bonus material. It's just information about, generally, all it was various people, Steven Spielberg and other producers and directors and things, talking about the film. So yes, we want to see that, but it doesn't need to be pristine like the movie does it? So yes, the boutique labels are doing it right, and on certain releases, the big labels are doing it right. This isn't wrong. It's just a bit of a compromise, which to me was unnecessary. And the film could have looked even better than it already does. It does look amazing on the 4K. Like I said, this one looks amazing. Now there is some scenes where there's quite a bit of noise in the picture, and that's, I think, part of what they were going for in the first place. They did it that way on purpose. I don't think it's to do with video compression or anything like that. And actually, it suits it. It helps with the sort of the grittiness of the film. And yes, as I said, there were scenes in Jaws that I didn't sort of reel back thinking, oh, that looks awful, but I was distracted by what I saw. So I just forced myself to go back and look at the characters and the shark and the boat and everything and what's going on, and you don't notice it. And if you don't notice it, then that's great. I'm not going to tell you where I saw these compression things and whatnot, because then it will have you looking for them, and it will spoil it for you. You know, what I probably should have said at the beginning of this, if you're new to my channel, I worked in the industry for 10 years making these discs. You know, I worked on, I think, the original Rain Man DVD that I showed in the video of my review, and you know, thousands of titles. Some of them were just the same film but different SKUs: the German, the Spanish, the French, the Japanese, the American, the British. You know, all the different SKUs that Disney and stuff used to do. You know, so there's videos about that in my playlists called How Physical Media is Made. So if you want to understand more why I know what I know and why I'm sort of explaining this, then you can go and watch those videos, and know that I'm not just, you know, making this up off the top of my head. Of course, yeah, it would be nice if the discs had the space to put all the bonus stuff on, because some people are buying these films for the first time. So they don't have the special editions with all the bonus on, and they possibly don't want to have to find them, especially if they're very collectible and they're going to cost a lot. So yeah, I 100% understand why people would prefer to have bonus material on the 4K disc, but actually, no. If you want the best 4K picture possible, you want zero bonus material. You know, a commentary is fine, but again, you don't need a 4K picture with a commentary, do you? So you can just put the Blu-ray in and listen to commentaries, or even the DVD. You know, they put new commentaries and things on these discs to try and sell them to us. Otherwise, I don't think they would do it. If they were happy for us to just sit there and be content with just having the 4K feature on a disc, they wouldn't put all these extra things on there. Anyway, I don't want to waffle on too long. Hope I didn't sound patronising or anything. If I did, I'm sorry. But anyway, please give us a thumbs up. It's really important that if you get anything out of my videos, that you give them a thumbs up, because that helps share them with the rest of YouTube. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm getting close to 1,000 now, and that would be a really cool milestone to achieve. And yeah, as I said, I have plenty of other videos for you to watch, so go and check out the playlist and see what you can find. And comment, make sure you comment. I love the comments, and I will always reply. Doesn't matter how old the video is or what the comment is as such, I will always reply. Anyway, take it easy.